Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul because I've gotten some ARCs in the mail and I've also been to the library recently. So the first book I have is Edie and the Oracle's Quest. It's by T.N. Trainer. The back of the book says, if you loved that famous Rings book, but don't possess a degree in Middle Earth, then read on. Imprisoned within a magical orb, the sister witches wait to be released. When the prophesied one is crowned king, he will have the power to set them free. At all costs, he must be found and directed towards the evil that is seeping into the world of Talia. Meanwhile, our hero, Edie's life, so far has been full of sorrow. He longs to leave it all behind and go in search of adventure, and so when Marcus the magician turns up and asks him to join him on a quest, Edie doesn't hesitate. They set off together across the lands of Talia in search of the mother who will bring the new king into their world. They must find her before the evil Nervora and his vile minions do. The Oracle is relying on them to keep the new king safe. But the world of Talia is changing. The demons becoming even bolder, and time is running out. Which side will the witches decide to fight on? Will Edie and Marcus succeed in their quest? Will Edie learn to be the greatest magician Talia has ever seen? For that he must, if he is to save them all. This to me comes off as something like Lord of the Rings, as it mentioned, or the Shannara books by Terry Brooks, but lighter and probably easier to read. The next book I have is Two Women and Too Many Men by Nancy Orchard. This is actually by the same author. This one on the back, it says, when Alex meets Susie, she is a shy woman with no self-confidence. Susie, although going through a painful divorce herself, helps Alex come out of the show. Two women, two divorces, and far too many dates to mention. Sorry, my cell phone keeps going off. The two friends embark on a search for love and happiness, a raunchy, racy story full of laughs mingled with a few fears. This is a poignant and highly entertaining tale of two women's adventures pre- and post-divorce. It celebrates friendship and determination to find happiness. I actually contacted this author on Goodreads because she had put this book up for reviews, and she ended up also gifting me this book. And she sent them all the way from England, which I thought was really cool. And as we were talking, I discovered that she's dyslexic, and so I find that so really impressive because I have both of my siblings are dyslexic, and I know that they had a hard time getting through school and like doing so much as reading a newspaper article. So I find it amazing and super awesome that somebody who's dyslexic was not just able to overcome it, but to overcome it so much that they were able to become an author of at least two books. My next book is, I'm sorry, my camera keeps shaking. My next book is Dating is Murder, a novel by Harley Jane Kozak. This one is a fun, light read. It's a murder mystery. It's about a woman named Wally Shelley, who's a greeting card artist. This one's blurb is really long, so I'm not going to read it like I did the others. She ends up joining a television show called a competition show called Biological Clock, where she is paired with somebody as a couple, and the audience votes on who they think will make the best parents. And then her friend goes missing, and when she reports this to the police, she ends up in the middle of an FBI investigation, and several people are stalking her and trying to kill her. And since I have been reading so much heavy stuff, this light sort of cheesy murder mystery seemed like it would be entertaining to me. The next book I have is Once Upon a Zombie, Book 1, The Color of Fear. This one, honestly, I picked up because I liked the cover art. If I can catch it in the right light, her stitches on her face glitter. Um, this is a book about a girl who ends up going into a fairy tale world that I imagine, because this looks like Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and it says Alice on her necklace. It involves Alice, but there are all sorts of zombies and monsters in the fairy tale world. This is another one that I thought felt really light and fun, and also I love books that sort of spoof on like my childhood fairy tales or a history. Um, if you've watched my channel before, you've heard me talk about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Um, I book hauled the sequel to that book a while ago, and I really just super love that kind of twist on old fairy tales. The next book I got is a kind of book I normally don't pick up. It's an autobiography by Gabri Sidibe. It's This Is Just My Face. Um, I actually didn't know that this was coming out, but I always stop first at the new shelf at my library, and this was there, and I love Gabri Sidibe. I think she's such a good actress, and I love every movie and TV show that I've seen her in. And so I wanted to know a little more about her. I saw, literally the day after I picked this book up at the library, I saw an interview of hers on Comedy Central where she was promoting her book, and she was talking about how she was a phone sex operator, and it started out she was supposed to sound as white as possible, and then there were people who wanted her to sound even more black than she does, and those were her words. Um, but it seems like her life was really fun and interesting before she became famous, and I can't wait to read this. The next book I have is The Hate You Give, by Angie Thomas. I have heard so much about this book from BookTube. I know Peter Mon has been listening to the audiobook version of it the last couple of weeks, and I've heard that the title and some of the story is based on some of Tupac's material. I'm not sure. I know that a lot of the main focus is on a young black girl who witnesses a shooting and how that affects her life. Um, I've heard so many people say that it's a really heartwarming story, and it's a very educational story when it comes to like race relations. I actually didn't think that I was going to get to read this so soon. I had originally asked my library to do an interlibrary loan because they didn't have this book, and they told me they couldn't do it because they can only do interlibrary loans for books that are more than a year old. And as you know, this just came out a few months ago. But it turned out that because of my interest, the librarian who's over ordering the books decided to go ahead and order it. So my library now has this really awesome book that I can't wait to read, kind of because of me. And the other thing that I kind of enjoy is that I get to be the very first person to read it, because as soon as it came in, they put my name on a note and stuck it on the whole shelf and called me. And so I'm going to sniff the brand new book. So I get to be the very first person to read this at my library, which is fun. I kind of have a thing for being the very first person to read a book and the very first person to sniff a book. It's weird, but you know, we all have our weird things. The next book I have is It's Stephen King's Misery. Uh, if you've been watching my channel for a while, any of my book hauls, you'll notice that I have been reading a lot of Stephen King lately. I've seen the movie Misery, but I never had a chance to read the book, and I just happened to be walking past a shelf, and this book was sitting there, and I was like, oh my god, I have to read that. And it was just one of those sort of happenstance things. I know that as I read this, I will be picturing Kathy Bates as the main character, and the male actor who plays the author that she kidnaps, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. I will be picturing him as well, because I've seen that movie so many times. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I know, totally inappropriate movie for a kid, but that's never stopped me before. The last book I have in my haul is another Stephen King book. It's The Dark Tower. It's 4, I believe. Yes. And it's called Wizard and Glass. If you've seen my book hauls and such before, you'll know that I'm trying to get through the Dark Tower series because the movie is coming out, and I don't know how deep into the lore they're going to be. This book, though, has some amazing art. They all do, but this one's art seems to be a lot more abstract than the others. The other books come off a lot like art from a graphic novel, where this one, the art seems like something that I would frame and hang on my wall. So yeah, this is book 4. I am trying to get the rest of them. I realize as I'm filming this that I will probably show these books out of order because I'm going to be posting this book haul today, and I have a previously recorded book haul that I think the books that come before this were in that I'm going to post at a later date, because I post my videos out of order sometimes. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I have gotten so into this series, and one of the things that I'm enjoying about this is picking out the little Easter eggs of how this book connects to, or not this book, but this series connects to all of the other books in the Stephen King universe. Not all of the books, I don't think, are in like in the same universe or connected through connected at all, but a lot of them are. And if you pay close attention as you're reading through the books, you can pick it out. And I think it's really fun to do that. It's an added bonus, really. So that's all I have for this book haul. It's running a little long because there were a lot of books. So please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. And please follow me on all my social media. It'll be linked down below. And keep reading.